This film also had the creepiest Santa. And you could,
oh my god, yes!
I'll pick Andrew Garfield.
Peter 3.
Peter 3. Look, I put that on.
Ooh, that comic book filter.
This green ball?
This green tennis ball is Vecna, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I didn't see it, but I know what you're talking about.
Kendra's checking under the hood of the mic to make sure everything's a-okay.
Just because I have a naturally loud voice, so either I need to talk a little further away from my mic, or I need to turn the volume down a little bit, just so it's not, because I don't know, my audio seems to spike a lot when I'm doing it in post, so.
Interesting.
I'll just try and talk from back here.
I mean, that's always my intention, and it never works out, but you know what? I believe in you!
Well, however you have yours set up is fine. But yeah, for me, it's just, I'm so loud, so I'm like, God, like, shut up. Turn it down.
That's just self-talk talking. It's not even a mic. It's all up in here.
It's all up in here.
Gotta turn that one down.
Yes.
Anyways, hello, Cinema Peeps.
Hey, Cinema Peeps.
We are crazy.
We are crazy.
Is the bottom line.
Spring is coming, and so the springs are loose.
You mean betrayal? The season of betrayal?
Yes. The mindfuckery that is spring in Alberta.
Right. We were just talking about, and you brought up a good point where it's like you pretty much have to guarantee snow basically until after May long weekend. After that, it's probably, yeah, you're right, the safest. After that, then it's a freak.
Right?
Thing of nature.
Not even just snow. Just you have to accept that some sort of freak weather is going to happen, or you're gonna get like that skit that I sent you, where it's like you're gonna get the false hope of like double digits or +1, and you're gonna be like, oh, finally I'm gonna get to do stuff, and then it's like, just kidding, -10.
We quote that all the time.
Yeah.
We're like, is it +1? Oh my god, personal hygiene. I forgot about that.
I'm gonna go wax the car.
Right. I was like, oh, when you sent me that, I was like, oh, good times.
That's
such
so
a good
funny.
skit.
And they're like, here at Weather Alberta, we put that +1 in there just to keep you from losing your shit.
Yeah. We really can't tell. We don't really know that far in advance. We just do it as a sense of hope.
7-day forecast, it's all bullshit.
Yeah. And I mean, they're not wrong.
Yeah.
They are not wrong. Speaking of bad transitions. Because you still have Apple, right?
Yes.
So to advocate the reason to keep that channel, to keep it, because I really can't justify less. Ted Lasso's the only reason.
Yes.
I mean, there's other good things, but like Ted Lasso, come on. But me and my mom started watching a show that she was watching on the plane to Boston.
Oh.
And so we were giving this show a try called Bad Sisters.
Oh, interesting.
We're a little over halfway now, and I am addicted. I really like the show.
Really? What's it about?
So their description's not mine. Dark comedy, black comedy. But basically, the story opens up with an open casket, and you see a dead man inside, and he's got a raging erection.
Okay.
So I just want you to picture that while I'm on a plane with other people, and my mom howling next to me, slapping me, being like, "Oh, and I'm like, but the story is about these 5 sisters. Let's see if I could. I don't think I could name them all. I think it goes Eva, Grace, Ursula, BB, and Bex.
Okay.
Rebecca, but she likes to be called Bex. Yeah.
Okay.
And so it centers around them and like their family dynamic, and the second oldest sister, Grace, is married to this guy named Jean-Paul.
Okay.
Who is an absolute dick. Like, a horrible man.
Okay.
He, not to shit on anybody, but like he's a devout kind of Catholic man but like in all the wrong ways. He's super misogynistic, sexist, and he's just a pig.
Okay.
And basically, the story kind of takes place 6 months prior to his death and then after his death. So there's a lot of back and forth. Which I will say, I love the transition of them going back and forth in time. I don't know. It's just a simple like film reel that goes, but I like it. Maybe just bias. I'm like, oh, that's really cute.
Nice.
But yeah, it's basically the story of his death, and they're like, you as the audience member are trying to figure out like how he died. Because basically after episode 1, I think it was because they have one daughter, Grace and Jean Paul, and basically at her christening, I think it's called. I'm very good Catholic. The problem is he does so many shitty things, so I can't keep them all straight. But at that point, you learn that Eva had taken their daughter out to get a bra because she's like 13 years old. Also, it's in Ireland, so if I sound like I'm pretending to have an accent, that just happens when I watch shows like this. I think I have an accent and I could be cool, and I cannot be. And basically, Jean Paul sees this and he freaks the fuck out. He's like, why are you buying a lingerie for a child? Why are you sexualizing my child? And she's like, it's a fucking bra. Get over yourself. And basically, he tells her to like back the fuck off. And it's like, just because you can't have any kids, because I guess you learn that she's infertile. And he loves to bring that up at every opportunity that he can. And basically just is a shitty person. And so BB, who you meet her and she has a eye patch. So you're like, why are you cosplaying as a pirate? That's wild. But I guess you learn throughout the show that because of Jean Paul, she lost her eye. So she already has like a vendetta against him. And Eva's just
what the
like,
heck?
yeah. And Eva, being the older sister, sees how like Jean Paul is basically sucking the life out of her sister Grace. How she is just not a very confident woman. He is controlling, like all the bad things. And so basically BB goes, we should kill him. And Eva's like, no, we were just joking. Like, she goes, seriously, like, let's help the process along because, you know, they're just really worried for her sister. And so that's kind of where the hilarity starts, because basically it starts with the two sisters. Eventually all of them, well, so far not Grace, but all the other sisters come together and they're like, yeah, let's kill Jean Paul. He's a dick. And you kind of learn how he's like a dick to all of them, how he crosses them. And he's just, again, I'm sure this actor's a very nice man in real life, but he does a very good job of being an asshole.
Wow.
And so it's them trying to like kill him and yet being so unsuccessful. And it's really funny. It's wild. And I mean, again, it's like an Irish, they're in Ireland, so it's like that kind of humor. It's just so funny.
That's funny.
And so yeah, so you as the audience member, you're trying to figure out, okay, well, how does he die? And again, because it kind of takes place as they're like trying to plot to kill him, and then after the fact, where you have these two guys who like their insurance, they own their dad's business, they're half brothers, but you discover that their dad was a bit of a crook, and so they cannot pay out Jean Paul's life policy to the family. So they're trying to dig up anything so they don't have to pay this money, because if they do, they're going to be bankrupt. And so you're kind of following them along as well. So you're trying to figure out like, how does this all like come together? So that obviously appeals to me because I like a little bit of mystery, and it is just very funny.
Nice.
But I mean, there is like, yeah, I won't lie, like some hard scenes because he is just such a prick.
Oof.
But I will say, like, I know we only have like maybe 4-ish episodes left, but my very early prediction though is that there's this really nice neighbor named Roger who is just the sweetest man. And of course, obviously compared to Jean Paul, he's the fucking devil. And so I really think, because we're watching all these sisters like do all these like murder attempts and fail like you know, on a catastrophe level, like it's so bad, but that's what makes it so funny.
Yeah.
But obviously he does die because that's the opening of the show. So I really think, and with the insurance people poking around, they're like, we don't want to get caught. I really think they didn't actually kill him. I think they did, but I think Roger kills him.
Oh, really?
That's going to be my early ass prediction. Because just especially like how it's been going with them. Like, I think we were on attempt number 4 and they still fuck. I mean, at this point you think they've succeeded, but I'm pretty sure they didn't again.
Okay.
So like just with like that happening, I'm like, I think it'd be really, just think how the show is going. It'd be really out of pocket if either, like I said, I have high hopes that Roger kills him. Again, he's a very sweet man, but I could, like, again, because Jean-Paul is mean to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he's mean to Roger for no reason. So,
wow.
I could see him doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Or finally Grace, his wife, you know, finally, like, fucking snaps out of it, and maybe she kills him.
Mm.
But I think in order for that to happen, I think he'd have to do something to their daughter. So that's why I'm rooting for Roger for some reason. I'm rooting for Roger to kill him, because then I think it'd be really funny. Because again, they're all stressed, and the insurance guy's like, "I need to get any kind of dirt." Like, yeah, they totally did it. Like, I don't think he's 100% convinced, but I think at this point he's like, "I need anything to get out of this."
Yeah.
So I think in all this like kerfuffle, I think we're gonna find out that it was Roger the whole time. So.
Huh. Interesting.
That's my early prediction, though. I have no clue. But yeah, I really enjoy the show with my mom. There's been so many moments I've been laughing, but yeah, it's a really well-balanced show. I really like it.
Nice. And it's called Bad Sisters?
Bad Sisters on Apple Plus.
Okay, interesting. That sounds like a wild show.
It is so good. Each episode's like about an hour. I think it's about 50-ish minutes, but they're really well-paced.
Nice.
You don't even realize like an hour goes by and you're like, yeah, I can watch another one. Oh, just kidding. It's 1 a.m. I guess I can't. Whoa, boring. Yeah. Come on, people. But yeah, I highly recommend it. It's nice. It's been very good so far. And like I said, early prediction, I really hope Roger kills him. I mean, to be honest, I think any of them could do it. Yeah. Like, he is just... Again, I am sure the actor in real life is a very sweet man. That's usually how it is. The people who play like the absolute assholes are like the nicest people on planet Earth. Right. So we'll have to see how it goes. Yep. We'll have to see how it goes. Yep. But definitely a recommendation from me.
Nice. I'll have to give it a look.
But yeah, the big thing I watched this week was I did watch Mean Girls the Musical.
Woo-hoo!
I really wanted to, I also wanted to rewatch the original before, but I was like, I don't have time. Right? We got hooked on Bad Sisters, and I was like, I ain't gonna have time to rewatch the original Mean Girls.
Right? I think I might have to go back and watch the original one again, too, because after watching or seeing the musical, I did want to go back and watch the original one.
Right?
Yeah.
So good. I also am kind of sad because the Mean Girls musical actually did come to my city. Around the time the movie was out, I think. So.
Oh, really?
Again, in a perfect world, I would have loved to see the play, the movie, and then the original, just to like, have this full circle. But that's okay.
I'm sure maybe we'll see. Hopefully they'll do another circuit again.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they would.
Yeah, because it's pretty popular, I think.
But I'm trying to remember what your original thoughts were on the movie before I, maybe repeat things. Maybe I don't want to, get too repetitive, but I know you talked honestly, a little bit on the podcast.
Yeah, we did kind of mention a little bit of it, but honestly, just dive into it and we'll kind of we'll go back and forth.
Sounds good.
Because I really want to know your thoughts on it.
So I really enjoyed it.
Yay!
I will say though, Regina George, Damien, and I'm blanking on her name now. I just want to call her Moana, because that's who she voices Moana, Disney's Moana, but...
Oh, yeah.
Janice,
yeah.
They stole the show for me.
Oh, yeah.
I was always invested when they were on screen. I was like, hell yeah, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Which I mean is kind of a little bit of an unfortunate thing, because they were just all of their songs were fire. They were so good.
Right.
Which kind of made all the other ones a little lackluster in comparison.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. But although I will say the Karen song about Halloween, I really enjoyed that. I was like,
I know, right?
That's funny.
At first when it came on, I was like, what is this? And then I'm like, okay. Okay.
You're like, I concede.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, that whole Halloween, like, party I thought was really good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I loved, like, the sexy song that transitions into the party, and then, that song Regina sings, and then everything turns blue, and everyone, like, props to the choreography and the dancers, because to me, it felt like they were, like, robots on, like a wind-up, like, mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Again, maybe her way of, like, controlling the people around her. Like, I just thought,
Mm-hmm.
so good. I was like, damn.
Which again, too, you mentioning, like, I would have loved to have seen the Broadway show too, like, seeing how they brought that in on film. I'm like, how did they achieve that on Broadway? Because obviously this is taking inspiration from the Broadway thing, right? So,
or is it different? Like,
or is it different? Exactly,
I would love to see that, right?
Either way, I think it'd be so cool to see that, yeah.
But like I said, I think, like, everyone else's songs were a little bit underwhelming. Like, I understand what they were doing for, like, Katie's character. So, like, that first opening song, I'm like, yeah, that absolutely makes sense. But then, compared to, like again, the trio I just mentioned, like, all their songs are just, like, real, like, not even, like, well, like, obviously they sang it really well, but they just had this charisma, and they added this extra layer to the song that I just really, like, really connected with. Versus every time. And I mean, it wasn't fair, like, the fact that, so Katie had her opening song, like, oh fuck, I'm blanking on the name of the song now. But just being like, what if, like, you know, taking chances, I'm, you know, like, I thought that was well done and it made sense for her as the character at the beginning. The Stupid in Love one, that was very underwhelming. I was not a fan. I was like, sure, I guess. And then, like, your ending song again was okay, but again, I just think everyone else, like, put so much personality into those into their songs. It was just like I get what they were doing with Katie's songs. I just don't think it always translated correctly. And I think it would have been really cool if somehow, instead of having the stupid love song, having a song when she was more plastic and, like, changing, like, her, like, again, this is probably a big I mean, I'm not a singer, you know, so this might be, like, a humongous ask, but somehow, like, changing the tone of her voice somehow to show, like, she's made this transition to being more plastic, to be a little more fake, I think would have been really cool, and would have been maybe more of a payoff when she went back to more of her style of singing and tone for the ending song. But again, like, I feel really bad, but I think it's hard because I think all three of those guys, I think they've been on Broadway before, you know, and I think they're just very talented singers, and they clearly just know what they're doing. So
well, and I think too, like, I did like the fact that, because it, again, like, the comparing the two from this one to the original, like, the original one is narrated by Lindsay Lohan, by the main character. And the whole story is, like, told through her perspective of it all, whereas I like how they switched it up for the Broadway and it's told through Janice and Damien, which I really liked. Because then, I mean, I think in that way, like, I agree with what you said about, like, Katie's songs and stuff like that. They were kind of, like, underwhelming, but the fact that it wasn't told through her kind of helped with that, I think. So I feel like, I don't know, like, I feel like if they kept it the way they did for the original, where it was narrated by Katie, I don't know, I feel like the movie would have been very different in some ways. It just would have not maybe hit as hard as it did.
I
don't know. But and I mean, I know that actress, like, I think she was in the Spider-Man movies, like the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. Who plays Katie. Personally, I found her to be a little dry for the character, I think. But then again, I'm also speaking from having grown up watching the original, and when you have someone like Lindsay Lohan, who's very, like, she has such a personality, to have someone who's maybe a little bit toned down, it was, I don't know, to me it just didn't, she felt very forgettable to me, I guess. Plus, like you said, when you're going up against, like, the actress who played Regina and then Damien and Janice, like, she kind of, like, blended into the background a little bit, and everybody else, like, really shone.
And and it's hard to know if that was, like, a creative choice, you know, because I definitely see where it's like, she was being, like, they Like, they really made her, like, I didn't feel, like, again, that's why I wanted to watch the original again, because I didn't feel like Katie, like, when Lindsay Lohan portrayed her, was that timid.
Mm-mm.
Shy, yes. But yeah, kind of like you're saying, we were getting her perspective, so a lot of, for her, was like, this is a new, like, a new world and new rules that I'm not used to. I'm not used to adults not trusting me. I'm not used to having to ask to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, this is so weird. And yeah, so I definitely found they made her even more timid and really reserved, which again, I guess
makes sense for the story of her character.
Yeah, but again, probably that argument we always like to bring up, where it's like, but do we want her to be exactly the same as, like, Lindsay Lohan's character?
Right?
You know? So, like, I respect if that was a conscious choice, then sure.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with you. I just don't, I think she just kind of ended up blending into the background. And like I said, I kind of cared less. Like, I was like, I just want the other three on screen. I don't really, sorry, I don't care about you anymore. I would like the other three on screen, please. Right. Thank you. And it was almost the same with Karen.
Yeah.
Like, to me, she seemed like she was high all the time. Like,
right.
And again, I was trying to think back to the original, and I was like, I didn't get that impression from her character in that movie.
Right.
Like, she just seemed like she was high as a kite all the fucking time. Well, again, I was like, is this, like, they don't want to go, like, too, similar, but I'm like, I don't know how I felt about that. That seemed like a little extreme. Like, I don't know.
But I think that's kind of like when I mentioned, because now it's coming back to me, some of the things that I mentioned in the previous episode of our podcast. I had said that I felt like there were some moments they tried to, or they were doing in the new one, that didn't feel like it came, or what's the best way to put it? It just felt like outdated in some ways, I guess. And so again, I'm not a teenager in this generation. I don't know if we have girls who act like that in high school as they did for us when we were in high school.
True.
Like, we had like the really campy, like, oh my god, LOL, WTF kind of like girls,
like,
right?
Kind of like the original
like Karen,
Mean Girls.
Yeah,
it was very you resonated.
Exactly. And so to bring those, obviously, because these are the characters of the story we're telling, you kind of have to keep some level of similarity there. Same with like what's her name? Gretchen's outfits. Again, to me, I was like, to me, this doesn't seem like an outfit that kids wear nowadays. Like the stuff that Regina's wearing and Karen's wearing, kinda, but like more the stuff Regina's wearing seems modern. Whereas the stuff that Gretchen's wearing, her behavior, Karen's behavior, that seems like things of the past. So I think that's, to me, where I was kind of like, obviously they have to bring that in because it's part of the story, but it just doesn't, with the fact that they tried to modernize everything. I don't know, it just didn't, it kind of stuck out to me a little too much. It didn't like blend in seamlessly with the rest of it. So
yeah, maybe they just had, issues being like, how do we update the characters to now?
Yeah.
And maybe they were just struggling, so they're like, you know what, let's just pay homage.
Yeah.
Instead of, trying. But I just, Karen's, again, no shade to the actress. I was like, why was the conscious choice to make her seem like she was high off her nut all the time? But you're right. Maybe it's just, maybe there are kids who are like that, and we just, again, I see that, I'm like, stoner.
Right?
So who the fuck knows,
Yeah.
What else about the movie? I liked how they played a little more, like, giving Regina George a couple moments of like vulnerability, and kind of letting her like kind of see a little bit like, oh, like, because obviously I think the whole idea is that we're like, from the original Mean Girls, like, we're all insecure, like, hating on another girl doesn't make you pretty, or like, support each other kind of thing.
Yeah.
So being able to kind of see her, because I just didn't feel like not that there was anything wrong with Rachel McAdams' performance in the first movie, but I definitely never felt that she had she wasn't vulnerable at all in that movie. Like, you could see her being mad and frustrated for sure, but I feel like in this adaptation, I like those like little glimpses of like her insecurity, and then she had that song right after fucking setting the world on fire. I was like,
right. Yeah, it definitely made
So
her
good.
character feel more grounded in this one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked her at the end when she was supposed to be the high one because she's like, I'm really high on these drugs. And she's just like waving to like nothing. I was like, oh, I don't know. I thought that was so funny. I was like, God damn. So
Right?
I did like those. I thought that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they did some really funny nods to like the original, you know, being like, fetch, what's fetch? Oh, it's from like an old movie or something.
Yeah.
I was like, that's funny.
Or like the cutout of the tank top with the bra and everything.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I liked that the two teachers were married in this one.
Yeah.
Because like you could tell there was like some flirty energy. And she's like, you have to walk the dogs when we get home. I love you. I was like, oh. I was like, yeah. I don't know why that made me happy. I was like, that's so nice.
Well, I do remember a lot of people like in the original one, they would always like ship those two teachers, like, because it kind of seemed like there could have been that energy there. So,
right,
yeah,
there was like a weird subplot in the first one where they're clearly, like, kind of flirting with each other because she was like, "Oh, I just got out of my divorce or whatever." So
yeah.
Again, I just thought, it was very nice. Again, paying a little bit of homage, but again, like not changing it. And again, the infamous line, she doesn't even go here. I'm here for track meets. Yeah, it's not, girl, get out. Like, and then like they bring her up again. Like, I don't know. There was quite a few like lovely little payoffs, and I liked some of their jokes, but I mean, I think overall, and I mean, I think it's purely based on nostalgia. I just like the original more.
Yeah.
Again, there was a couple things I just didn't jive with this musical version, but there was like so much where I was like, oh, like the apex predator, like the world burns. I was like, damn, these are fire. But then there'd be like, I'm good at math, but stupid with love. I'm like,
yeah.
Yes. Or I was just thinking of the other one where they're doing like the trust exercise, and the girl was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry I was bad on you on the murder party sequence. You know, you were just doing your best." And the teacher's like, "What the fuck are they talking about?" Having these couple weird like meta moments I thought was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just on pure nostalgia, like I really like the original. But again, like I enjoyed my time with this, and I really like those songs are already like going on my playlist. Like,
right?
There's some of those songs that are like really good.
Overall, it was a lot of fun to watch, and honestly, it's the second Regina sang her first song that like sucked me, and I was like, oh damn, like she means business. She's coming to destroy, like, yeah. So like you said, like she was from the Broadway stuff, or she played Regina on Broadway, so like big props to her. She definitely stole the show. Out of any of the storylines that they redid, I like how they kind of amplified Regina's. But like her power there, just like the power that she has and stuff. And yeah, like how they have that sequence in the Halloween party where it's like, yeah, she has that power over everybody and all that. Yeah, just they really made her a villain in this, so
yeah,
it was cool.
And yet still squeezing like one or two vulnerable moments. I was like, damn.
Because I mean, really, at that age, like when you think about it, like that's what it seems, or that's what it feels like when you are dealing with a bully like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have so much power over you.
Yeah.
Although, yeah. Again, there's like Busy Phillips playing like, you know, Amy Poehler's character. Like, I feel like I don't know. I guess I kind of touched upon it a little bit the one time we talked about how people were making like all these videos like, oh, this is what the new Mean Girls is doing wrong, blah, 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 and all this garbage. So maybe like I wanted to see more good than what, and again, I didn't watch a lot of these videos, but I was getting fed quite a bit of like, and again, maybe they were clickbaity titles to get me to watch and be like, yeah. No! So maybe they, you know, maybe they shared a lot of our same opinions. So they just, you know, gotta get the clickbaity title.
Right.
But like, I don't know. At the end of the day, like I said, I did enjoy it. I thought they made a lot of fun choices and smart. But yeah, I just think Katie's character, and again, maybe you're right, maybe just having that shift of the story being told from another perspective, and that's why she became like more in the background. But I feel like maybe that's why I liked the original Mean Girls so much, was Lindsay Lohan's like narration being like this fish out of water. You know, she had zero stakes in the game. She was like, hey, I just want to be a teenager, you know, like we all do. We want to survive high school.
Right.
And yeah, and just seeing that, and I mean, I think they really emphasized her time, being overseas and like living in Africa. Like I remember the mall scene where they're all animals at the watering hole. Like they had so many references to that, and I was always thought like, oh, that's so funny. I really like that.
Yeah.
And really, the only references to that was like the Apex Predator song in this one. But again, it's that balance we always talk about, being like, when you're doing a remake, like how faithful do you need to be to the original?
Right.
Like, do you want it to be a 1-for-1? And I think in this case, out of anything, like, I think this was probably the best remake I think you could possibly get.
Well, and I think too, like, thinking about it more, because the original one kind of focused more on Lindsay Lohan's or Katie's experience and story. This one, to me, because they kind of let everybody else shine, or at least like, everybody else seemed to kind of have their moment of a story. And Katie's was kind of, it was there, but it was kind of in the background. Kind of, to me, it was like, well, now even if you don't relate to Katie's story, you could relate to one of the other stories.
Yeah.
And you were able to root for them as well, which was kind of nice. Because, yeah, like, even there's that one number that Katie does near the end where she's, like, dancing in the hallway, and, yeah, there's, like, all the rainbows and stuff, and it's, like, she's like, singing about her plan to get Aaron Samuels back. And
the revenge part. I call it murder party, but I think it's revenge party.
Revenge party or whatever, yeah. Even that, I was kind of like, like, it just didn't quite ring in with me, right? But, yeah, I think, if anything, they did it in a way where there was some story and some, like, I'm trying to figure out the best way to, like, explain it.
You got this, girl, you got this.
Because, yeah, like, the whole time in the original one, you're rooting for Lindsay Lohan to kind of, like, snap out of it and get her power back, stand up to her bullies, and just be herself kind of thing, right? And I feel like they, in some ways, maybe hopefully tried to make that the whole message for all of the characters that were given emphasis in this new one. But, yeah, hers just wasn't the main focus as it was in the original. Yeah.
But, yeah, I think overall, like, props. But yeah, end of the day, I probably still favor the original, but again, I will say 90% bias. Like,
yeah,
I'm a little shit, but yeah,
right.
Some of those songs are just, they're so fucking good,
right? They're so good. Yeah,
I was very impressed. I gotta play some more now. I might have a song later. Just very good.
So my next question then for you is, did you get it spoiled that Lindsay Lohan had a cameo in this movie?
A little bit.
Did you?
Because again,
okay.
I mean, I had because unfortunately, like I said, I was getting fed so many things.
Yeah.
And because I was a late person to the party, and I couldn't help because they were like, oh, watch this interview with the cast. And I was like, oh yeah, maybe. And I feel like when you start clicking, then you're going to get more.
Yeah.
So I saw like a sliver, and then I was like, no! And I slapped my phone. But I mean, I was still very happy to see her.
Yeah.
And again, I like how she was like, this only ever happened twice, actually. This is very weird.
Yeah.
So I think I saw maybe somewhere where they were like, why didn't everybody, or like, they're like, oh, why did Rachel McAdams get excluded or something or other? But I mean, it could just, like, I don't know. I think some people just read too much into shit.
They do, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think, like, maybe there is, like, I mean, I think we both don't want there to be malicious intent, but, maybe it's just a scheduling thing. At the end of the day, sometimes it's like very boring mundane answers. Like, oh, it's just a scheduling thing. Or maybe they were just like, you know what? We just want to have Lindsay Lohan. We don't want this to be like a card of cameos for the film.
Right, exactly.
We want it to be able to be like, wow, this is a fun film without it. And we still got this little highlight from Lindsay Lohan, right?
Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head there too, because I feel like if you start doling out too many cameos, then it loses its appeal, or it loses its like magic.
Yeah.
So then having that like nice little surprise of her at the end was kind of like, oh yeah. But I mean, like Lacey, I always can never pronounce her last name. Lacey Chabert and our boy Jonathan.
Yeah.
He like they do their own Mean Girls references in the Hallmark movies, so it's not like it's fully like, like they do their own thing. And
they also did that whole Walmart Mean Girls ad where they had I think almost everybody except for Lindsay Lohan. Yeah. And again, I know some people are like, but I think it was just a scheduling thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, I'm assuming, like I said, maybe I'm just trying to see the best in it. So
Right?
I still enjoyed her cameo. I was still very happy. But yeah, I did get a smidge spoiled. But
Aw.
again, that's just unfortunately time because the film came out in January.
Yeah.
So, we're already into March. So
Yep, makes sense.
really at this point, I'm surprised I didn't get it spoiled the first week. So really,
Well, that's
applause.
what Zen and I were saying too, because when we went, it had already been out for a while, few weeks at least.
Mm-hmm.
And when we saw it, we didn't know she was going to be in it. And then both of us said after we watched it, we're like, wow, we're surprised that we didn't get that spoiled at all. So it was nice that they kept it under wraps as long as they did.
Mm-hmm. And really, people should just not spoil things.
Right?
Just get on enjoy the film.
It's
Enjoy
all
the film.
clickbait.
Clickety click click click. Just like this video will be when it comes out. Clickety click 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 click. Oh, anyways, guys, I think that'll do it for today's episode. I almost have a big old yawn. But yeah, I'd say my recommendation is Bad Sisters, and give the musical Mean Girls a try.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's a good time.
It's a lot of fun.
Hells yeah. Anyways, guys, if you liked today's episode, leave us a big yawn down below in that comment section. Comics? Comment section.
The comic section.
Yeah, the comic sections. Give us a little thumbs up if you liked us revisiting it. I was even thinking, for an episode idea, we should revisit a couple oldies that we liked and see if they still hold up today, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Especially because there's so many remakes. What was the one I saw recently on Prime? Oh, the Attractions one. Fatal Attractions one.
Oh.
We should definitely do, as an idea, that's something that interests you guys.
I'm down.
Right? I would definitely be down to do that, especially just because it seems to be happening more and more often.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah.
And also consider just subscribing to Pretty Cool Gals, in my opinion. Anyways, guys, before I take a massive nap, watch all the content, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Monkey.
Monkey.